So I find as Irish people, we struggle to understand the difference between humility and low self-esteem. That, like if someone were to say of themselves, "Oh, Jenny, I'm the worst, oh, go away or that now, sure, look, don't be talking to me at all, sure, I couldn't, and just completely deprecate yourself, like just, sure, I'm pure useless, sure, look at, and we've no trouble saying that kind of thing. And it almost sounds like humility until someone else says it about you. Oh yeah, they couldn't do anything, yeah. Or they could stand right in front of an open goal and they'd miss, so it's all fun and games. If I say it about myself, it sounds like humility. I'll know if it's humility by my reaction if someone else says it about me. So, what's true humility? Like, again, true humility is not putting oneself down continuously, considering yourself useless, considering yourself void of any talent, considering yourself unworthy of any love. That's not humility. That's not humility. Low self-esteem is very different to humility. Low self-esteem is when you look at yourself and you really see nothing of any good. Now, the difference between that and humility is, in humility, you can say, yeah, I've done quite well this year, or I studied hard and the exam went well, thank God. You can say, yeah, I have a beautiful family. You can say, I work hard and it's going well. You can say, yeah, I'm trying to use what the Lord has given me for the building up of His kingdom. You can say that you've done something, that you've worked hard, and thank God, always thank God it's going well. We've mentioned this a few times because it's something that comes up an awful lot in conversation, and the difference between humility and low self-esteem or self-rejection. Self-rejection is not from God. To stand in front of a mirror and despise or even dislike what you see. Now, obviously, we all have morning hair and morning breath and whatever else. So you can look at a mirror and go, "Japers, okay, I need a shave." But it's when you look at a mirror and what you see disappoints you, or maybe even disgusts you. What you see makes you sad. Something here is very, very wrong. And that is not from God. That is not from God, because that is not how He sees you. So, we've mentioned before, humility, as St. Teresa of Avila would say, is the recognition of truth. So, the truth of who God is and the truth of who I am. God, infinitely powerful, great, perfect, all-knowing. Okay, I don't think any of us disagree with that or have a problem with that. But recognizing who I am, both sides, the good and the bad. Yes, I have sinned, yes, I've fallen short, but I'm infinitely loved. I'm infinitely loved. And what the Lord did on the cross, He did for me. And when the Lord sees me, when He sees me trying, when He sees me praying, when He sees me trying to unite my heart to His and overcome my own fragility and humanity, I can actually console God. I can console His heart. There was a famous Dutch priest, died in 96 there. His name is Henri Nouwen, and he's incredibly eloquent. Just the way he writes, it's poetry. But he wrote the following. He said, "Self-rejection is the greatest enemy of the spiritual life." Self-rejection is the greatest enemy of the spiritual life. So he's not saying Satan or Freemasonry or aggressive feminism or none of these things. He's saying self-rejection is the greatest enemy of the spiritual life because it contradicts the sacred voice that calls us the beloved. Self-rejection is the greatest enemy to the spiritual life because it contradicts that sacred voice that calls you and I the beloved. The beloved. And that can be There's such wisdom in that, and such a maybe a life lesson, and maybe such a challenge for each of us today. My goodness, how do I see myself? Would I accept someone talking to someone I care about the way I speak to myself? So the way I speak to myself, if I heard someone else say that to someone I care about, would that be acceptable? Have we slipped into this kind of self-deprecation or self-rejection, and maybe even confuse it with humility, and maybe think it's an antidote to pride? That's not an antidote to pride. That's a highway to depression and possibly addiction, or both. So that's why self-rejection, it's so devious. As I say, it masks itself as humility, but it eats away at your identity, the identity of being a beloved son, a beloved daughter of God. And once your identity is gone, then you're going to try and fill it with maybe activism, doing things in order to feel a sense of accomplishment, or in order to earn people's love or God's love, or maybe my own love. We try to fill it with success in some way, shape or form, be it intellectual or on the sports field, or money, or pleasure, or something. But when our identity is gone, we'll try to fill it with something, try to make something our identity, something to live for, the next big success, the next big contract, the next big trophy, the next whatever it is. But none of those things can actually replace a damaged or absent identity. If I don't know who I am, nothing I do, nothing I realize, nothing I accomplish will fill that void. So self-rejection is not from God. Humility absolutely is. Recognizing who God is, who He is, how amazing, powerful, beautiful, loving He is. And recognizing that before Him, I am loved. Before God, I'm good enough. I'm deserving of love. I'm good enough to be loved. I'm good enough to be wanted. I'm good enough to be saved if I wish. So today, we ask the Lord to undo those knots of self-rejection, to heal those wounds and scars of self-deprecation, which mask themselves as humility, but destroy our identity. Self-rejection is the greatest enemy of the spiritual life, because it contradicts the sacred voice that calls us the beloved. Amen.